You could say Luka and the Mavs were slapped out of the first round. Oh, Luka, you can be mad, but don't be surprised. Marcus Morris does this. LeBron told the ref he was gonna up several times. The first thought here was the Mavs need some dogs. Yeah, you don't want to mess with those. But that's really just the beginning. I did not put the Mavs initially on Giannis's wish list until they proved something in the playoffs. Well, this bubble run did it. This might be the most important offseason video yet. We'll get to which dog vets the Mavs should add, how they would get Giannis, and why Luka just proved he is an MVP. Hey, it's Casey. Welcome to AM Hoops. 5 videos per week, always dropping at 5 Eastern. That is worth a subscribe. Hit notification bells too as the playoffs roll on. Today's video is sponsored by our Patreon subscribers. I'm gonna go ahead and put all 21 of their names right below here. All of these guys are able to DM me at any time on Patreon. I get right back to them. They get exclusive access to videos, behind the scenes videos, early access to videos. They're all able to request a video. If they really want to see a video topic, they send in the request. I'll make it as soon as possible. They each get an individual shout out, and even some of them are starting their own YouTube channels, and I'm giving them advice for that. But most importantly, they love AM Hoops, and they want to see it continue and be sustainable. So if you guys want to be a Patreon, the link is in the description. First, the offseason basics. Draft, the Mavs had the number 18 pick and the number 31 pick from Golden State, which is almost like another first-round pick. Cap space, nothing, especially if Tim Hardaway Jr. opts in, which he will. They'll have the $9.3 million mid-level exception to work with. Their needs, veteran defense, those dogs we talked about, short-term contracts, and their relevant free agents are Courtney Lee and JJ Barea. Now, before we get into any team building, we have to acknowledge what Luka Doncic just did. He just proved he is a 16-game player. 16 games, as in the amount of playoff wins to win a championship. See, these are actually great players. When I see 82-game players like Russell Westbrook, Trae Young, or D'Angelo Russell called great, I want to puke. Those guys are great talents. They are not great like Kobe great or MJ great. They're just talented. Luka, on the other hand, is a 16-gamer. This dude was the first player to average 38-8 in his first playoff run. He had 42 points in Game 1, the highest scoring playoff debut ever. He has the guts to hit a playoff buzzer beater, and he did all this on a sprained ankle against the Clippers. But the thing with 16-game players is even the best ones need help. No one can do it alone. Now that Luka has proven that he can be one of the greats this season, they have to surround him with talent quick. Can Kristaps Porzingis be that guy? Look, I want to say yes, but I also think he's injury prone. KP came off 18 months of ACL rehab, missed 10 games this season with knee soreness, then missed the last 3 playoff games with a meniscus tear. If he can turn his health around, he did show great signs of being a championship number 2. I mean, KP averaged about 27 points, 11 boards, and 2 blocks his last 21 regular season games. If he is injury prone, I'm not saying it's the Mavericks' fault. I mean, they traded for and paid a unicorn, right? Kristaps Porzingis to be the number 2. But the thing is, no one cares if it's their fault or not. Just the facts will be Luka Doncic doesn't have help, and the Mavs could turn into a team that loses their superstar. I mean, the Cavaliers got 7 years of LeBron James and lost him because of this. Luka doesn't want to be Devin Booker, who's amazing but wasting away in Phoenix. Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota, voted by GMs as the player you'd want to build a team around, 1 playoff win in 5 years. Look, Jordan had Scottie, LeBron had Wade and Bosh, Kyrie and Love. Luka needs help, or eventually he will leave Dallas. And if you don't believe me, after the Clippers loss, Luka said this, quote, "My goal at the start of every season is to win a championship. There is no other hope." From Giannis to Luka Doncic, whatever, 16-game players do not want to go down as 82 gamers. So the first thing the Mavs will have to tackle this offseason is the draft. Now, we already mentioned they've got their first at 18 and the Warriors second at 31. That's like 2 first-round picks. With those picks, Dallas should trade out of the first round and replace one of the lost picks in the Porzingis trade. Now look, I know that isn't sexy, like trading into the lottery to take some exciting rookie, but the Mavs will basically have the same team next year, and they're going for bigger things. My draft night trade here is this: the Mavericks 2020 first and second from Golden State to the Kings for their 2021 top 3 protected pick. The Kings will do this because they basically would get 3 cracks in the first round this year to find a cheap contributor, and they need those with all their bad contracts. The Mavericks get a valuable trade chip in the future or a really high pick next year because the Kings will be really bad. Next up in the offseason is free agency and trades. And we already talked about what the Mavericks need. They need veterans, dogs, they need defense. But what they don't need is any long-term contract because they can have a max slot in 2021. That means Giannis, that means some other guys. So whatever they do, they cannot jeopardize that. We're going to keep that in mind. Also, Tim Hardaway Jr. will probably opt into his $19 million player option because of the pandemic, so they will only have the $9.3 million mid-level exception to deal with. Free agent number 1, Serge Ibaka. Serge would be a great fit for this team. He isn't a dog, but he is a defensive veteran who is talented offensively as well. Ibaka had career highs in the regular season in points and assists per game. He is a big piece in Toronto's elite defense. Now, I think that $9.3 million would work, but only if it's a multi-year deal. As we said, that's not what Dallas wants, but they could trade Serge in the near future if necessary. Free agent number 2, Jay Crowder. This is not the offensive option that Ibaka is, but he would definitely take that $9.3 million for one season. Crowder played for Dallas in 2014, so he's familiar. He is high energy, a defensive addition, and he is a dog. He shot 40% from 3 too after the Heat trade, so maybe Crowder is the perfect Mavs free agent. And finally, Marcus Morris. Yes, think about it. He brings it on both ends. He averaged almost 20 points per game in New York. Yes, that's gone down in LA. He is still a career 37% three-point shooter. Obviously, this isn't realistic now because of the bubble drama, but I actually think he would be a great fit as a Dallas Maverick. And finally, the trades. Now, normally we have a lot of fun with these, but the truth is the Mavs should just wait. They have cheap, good contracts already, like Maxi Kleber, Seth Curry, Dorian Finney-Smith. They should keep this team, then add a max guy in 2021, like Giannis or Paul George, Victor Oladipo. The only way I see them making a big trade is if Giannis does not sign his Milwaukee extension. If the Bucks lose and Giannis wants to leave, they could trade Giannis so he doesn't walk for nothing. And in that case, the Mavs could trade Seth Curry, DeLon Wright, Maxi Kleber, and Jalen Brunson, plus 2 firsts and a second for Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is the best package the Mavs could offer while not including KP. They give up all of their young, great contracts basically, and the remaining picks for Giannis. A big 3 of Luka, Giannis, and KP doesn't need a great surrounding cast either. Dallas could still win with veterans on minimum contracts. The Bucks do this, and they get affordable talent and shooting around Chris Middleton while stocking up on picks. Really, next offseason is the big offseason for the Dallas Mavericks. The question will be which superstar will take their max slot to create a big 3, and hopefully for them, a future dynasty in Dallas with Luka. Giannis would be a good fit, obviously, he would be a good fit anywhere. But one thing we learned from this postseason is Luka is an MVP 16 gamer, and he can play with anyone. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.